Hello everyone, welcome to today's story. Love often shines brightest in times of pain, and tonight we enter a chapter filled with heartbreak, courage, and sacrifice. Lytuna, a strong woman who has carried burdens silently for so long, suddenly faces the cruelest news. The doctor has told her she lost the baby due to overwork. The small hope that once grew in her heart is now shattered in an instant. The hospital room was cold and smelled faintly of antiseptic. Lytuna sat on the bed, her face pale, her hands trembling as she tried to hold back tears. The doctor's words echoed, "I'm sorry," but the child didn't survive. Outside the door, Alex rushed in, his tie loosened, his eyes frantic. Seeing Lytuna's fragile figure, his chest tightened painfully. He had never felt so powerless. Will he be strong enough to become her anchor, the one who holds her when her world collapses? Or will the storm of grief tear them apart? If you believe love can heal even the deepest scars, don't forget to subscribe and help us reach 10,000 followers so you won't miss the next emotional chapters. Alex pushed open the hospital door, his breath shallow as if every step cost him strength. The sight before him froze his world. Lytuna, frail against the white sheets, eyes swollen from tears she could no longer hold back. In her hands was the ultrasound photo she had kept hidden like a treasure. Now, nothing more than a reminder of what she had lost. "Lytuna," Alex whispered, his voice breaking. She looked at him, her lips trembling, but no words came. Instead, tears spilled down her cheeks, heavy and relentless. "It's gone, Alex. Our child is gone," she finally choked out. Her voice carried not just sorrow but guilt, as if she blamed herself for working too hard, for not protecting the life inside her. Alex's knees buckled, and he dropped to the side of her bed, taking her cold hand into his warm grip. "Don't say that," he pleaded, his forehead pressed against her palm. "This is not your fault. You've carried so much on your shoulders. If anyone should be blamed, it's me. I should have protected you, cared for you better." Lytuna shook her head, sobbing quietly. "I thought, if I worked harder, maybe we could have a better future. I didn't realize I was pushing myself too far." Her words shattered him. Alex pulled her close, wrapping her gently in his arms, careful of her fragile body. "Listen to me," he said firmly, though his own voice wavered. "The future doesn't need to be built on your sacrifice alone. From now on, you don't carry this weight by yourself. I am here. I will be your strength. Even in this loss, you are not alone." The steady rhythm of his heartbeat against her ear gave her something to cling to, something real in the midst of despair. Slowly, Lytuna's sobs softened, though her tears still fell. For the first time since the doctor's words, she felt the faint warmth of hope, fragile but alive. Alex tightened his hold. He knew grief would not vanish overnight, but he also knew this was the moment to prove his vow. He would not let her drown in sorrow. The rain outside had stopped, but the hospital air was still thick with the scent of antiseptic and sorrow. Alex carefully wrapped his coat around Lytuna as they walked out together. Her steps were weak, almost hesitant, but his arm never left her shoulders, guiding her every move. Henry, left in the care of a close friend, would not understand why his mother had cried all night. As they reached the parking lot, the murmurs began. A group of distant relatives, neighbors, and even curious onlookers whispered behind cupped hands. She worked herself too hard, how careless. Poor Alex. With a mother like Mrs. Min, this woman was never meant to last. A miscarriage? Maybe it's a sign. Each word sliced through Lytuna like glass. Her body trembled, and she instinctively lowered her head. Shame and grief wrapped around her like chains. But Alex stopped walking. He turned to face them, his voice steady, though his jaw was tight with anger. Enough. His sharp tone silenced the crowd. This is my wife, the woman I chose. Her pain is not gossip for you to feast on. If you cannot offer compassion, then keep your words to yourselves. The boldness in his voice startled Lytuna. She looked at him, her eyes brimming with tears, not of sorrow this time, but of quiet gratitude. But the true storm awaited them at home. As soon as they stepped into the grand living room of the Turner estate, Mrs. Min was waiting. Her face was pale, her eyes cold as steel. She did not rise to greet them. Instead, her words fell like frost. So it's true. She clasped her hands tightly. You've lost the child. Lytuna's heart clenched, and she instinctively moved behind Alex, her strength already drained. But Alex stood tall, his hand tightening around hers. Mother, he said, his voice firm. Lytuna doesn't need your judgment right now. She needs care, she needs rest, and I will be the one to make sure she has it. Mrs. Min's lips thinned. Care? What about responsibility, Alex? This family's name, our reputation? A woman who cannot protect her own child. How can she protect you or our legacy? The words struck deep, and Lytuna gasped softly. She felt the walls closing in, her body shaking with unspoken guilt. But Alex stepped forward, shielding her completely with his frame. His voice, low but unyielding, echoed through the room. Legacy means nothing without love. If being your son means abandoning the woman I love in her darkest moment, then I choose to be just a man. Her support, her family. For the first time, Mrs. Min's mask of composure cracked. Her eyes flickered as disbelief, perhaps even fear, at her son's defiance. Lytuna clutched Alex's sleeve, tears streaming down her face. For the first time since her loss, she felt safe. Alex turned to her, whispering softly enough for only her to hear. No matter who stands against us, you will never face this alone. The night had settled over the Turner estate, but peace was nowhere to be found. After Mrs. Min's cold words, the silence in the living room was heavy, broken only by the faint ticking of the old grandfather clock. Lytuna sat on the edge of the sofa, her body fragile, her eyes cast down. Alex stayed close by her side, his hand never leaving hers. Suddenly, the sound of heels echoed down the marble floor. A figure entered with calculated grace. Mai. She was dressed elegantly, her lips curled into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Well, she said smoothly, her voice dripping with false sympathy. I heard about the unfortunate accident. I came to offer my condolences. Lytuna's head jerked up. She hadn't expected Mai tonight. The sight of her rival, a woman who had once tried to claim Alex through his mother's schemes, made her stomach twist with dread. Alex's jaw tightened instantly. Mai, this is not the time. Leave. But Mai ignored him, her gaze fixed on Lytuna like a predator circling prey. I must say, it's such a shame. Alex deserved a strong woman to carry his future. Yet here you are, fragile, broken, unable to even protect your own child. Tell me, Tuna, do you really think you belong in his world? The words struck like daggers. Tuna flinched, clutching her hands together so tightly her nails dug into her skin. Shame and grief washed over her again, threatening to drown her. Alex rose, his fury barely contained. "Stop it, Mai. You have no right to speak to her like that." But Mai only tilted her head, her voice soft, venomous. "I only speak the truth. Alex, think about it. With her, you inherit nothing but scandal and weakness. With me, you'd have power, stability, and the full support of your family. Can't you see what's better for you?" Mrs. Min, still seated, said nothing, but her silence was enough to suggest approval. That silence cut Tuna deeper than any insult. It was as if the world itself stood against her. Her chest heaved, and before she could stop herself, tears spilled down her cheeks. Maybe she's right," Tuna whispered, her voice trembling. "Maybe I don't deserve you, Alex. Maybe I've only caused you pain." "No." Alex turned to her immediately, kneeling so their eyes met. He cupped her face gently, brushing away her tears. His voice shook, but with determination. "Listen to me, Tuna. You are not a burden. You are my love, my family, my future. Losing the child doesn't erase who we are. It doesn't erase what we've built together." Tuna's lips quivered, her heart torn between hope and despair. She wanted to believe him, but Mai's poisonous words still echoed in her mind. Mai laughed softly, folding her arms. "Such pretty words, Alex, but words won't rebuild your future. Words won't save your family's name. One day, you'll see, love fades, but reputation lasts." That was the final straw. Alex stood, his tall frame towering over Mai, his voice booming with conviction. "Enough. You think reputation matters more than love? You think power is worth more than a heart that beats beside mine? You're wrong. Love is the only legacy I want. And no matter what, I choose Tuna." Again and again. The room fell into stunned silence. Even Mrs. Min looked away, her face unreadable. Tuna's tears kept flowing, but this time they were different. No longer tears of weakness, but of release. She clutched Alex's hand tightly, as if anchoring herself to him. For the first time since the loss, she felt she could breathe again. Mai's smile faltered. She had come to drive a wedge between them, but Alex's fierce declaration had only bound them tighter. With a bitter look, she turned on her heel and stormed out, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. When the door slammed shut, Alex turned back to Tuna. His voice softened, trembling with the weight of everything they had faced. "You're not alone, Tuna. Never again. Not as long as I live." She collapsed into his arms, sobbing into his chest. But this time, it wasn't despair. It was the overwhelming relief of knowing she was truly loved, beyond doubt, beyond circumstance. The night grew quiet once more, after the storm of words and emotions. The house seemed different now, not because it had changed, but because Alex and Tuna had. They sat together on the sofa, the dim lamplight casting soft shadows across their faces. Tuna's head rested gently on Alex's shoulder, her eyes swollen from tears, but calmer now. Henry stirred in his sleep, his small breaths filling the silence with a tender rhythm. Alex kissed Tuna's forehead, his voice low and steady. We've lost something precious, but that doesn't mean our love ends here. We'll carry it together, and one day, we'll find happiness again." Tuna's eyes glistened, her fingers tightening around his hand. "I was so afraid you'd blame me, that you'd see me as weak, but now, hearing you say this, I feel like maybe I can breathe again." Alex looked at her with unshakable resolve. "You are not weak, Tuna. You're the strongest person I know. Even in your pain, you hold Henry. You fight for this family. I promise, I will always be your strength when you feel you have none." The words were more than comfort. They were a vow. Tuna leaned closer, her tears falling silently, soaking into Alex's shirt. Yet, for the first time in days, those tears carried hope instead of despair. Outside, the wind rustled softly through the trees. It was as if the storm had finally passed, leaving behind a fragile but clear sky. The future remained uncertain, filled with challenges and shadows from those who opposed them. But the love they shared was now stronger than ever. Tuna whispered, almost too softly to hear, "If tomorrow comes with trials, promise me you won't let go." Alex held her tighter, his answer immediate, unwavering. "Never. We'll face it all together. As long as I breathe, you and Henry will always be my home." And so, in that quiet night, amid loss and pain, Alex and Tuna forged a new beginning. Their family might be small, but their love was vast, a love that no storm, no voice, no doubt could ever tear apart.
Trong cơn gió khắc nghiệt, Tử Na suy sụp khi bác sĩ báo tin là cô đã sảy thai vì lao động quá sức. Nỗi đau này khiến cô rơi vào tuyệt vọng. Còn bà Minh, bà Mai lợi dụng cô gieo dắt những lời cay nghiệt, khẳng định Tử Na không xứng đáng với Alex. Trước khi áp lực của gia đình, sự tra tấn công từ Mai, Alex đứng bên bảo vệ Tử Na, tuyên bố anh sẽ không thể